Hi, I'm Lex, that dude, and I've had a pretty unique few years. The past 4 years, I have gotten married, realized I was transgendered, moved from California to North Carolina, from North Carolina to New York, got my titties chopped off in New York, then moved back to North Carolina. I've given myself over 100 shots of testosterone. I think that's just kind of the beginning. The cool part is, I have documented my whole journey. I have hundreds of hours of footage and thousands of pictures just ready to show. You guys get to see my past, chill with me in the present. I guess we'll battle my future together. Welcome all. This is Evolution of Lex. Like when I discovered everything with the whole Dade experience, that was just the start of the darkest days. But I feel like, they had been, think of it like a brick in a pile. They had been kind of starting, you know, before California. I'm not going to sit here and doll the story up. Kate and I did not start the best, funnest of ways. I was in a prior engagement with my ex, and I had been together for like 4 years. I didn't feel like I was being, truthful to her, and I didn't think it was fair to my prior relationship. So I ended up starting with Kate, and that kind of started the dark days. That kind of started the pie. That was my first breakup, so I didn't really know how and what to expect. I lost a lot of friends and my family. Like, she's a really good person, and like that was like my first relationship that my family had seen, and the first girlfriend they had accepted, because I'd never really brought anyone around. I never really came out. So like that was the first relationship that they were close to the person. That was a hard breakup. That happened right before I left for California. Like, this was like a few months prior to California.
We're going swinging. Swinging.
Little thing that's never been ever been far from home, and now I'm about to move from South Carolina to California, and my family's not really happy. We're not on the best of terms right now because of the breakup, and I just lost somebody that I'd known for so long. It's just like, this was a very confusing time, and I'm about to venture into this confusing time, which is exciting but also scary at the same time because I've never been away. Kate and I first started dating, and we got to take that trip together. as like our new little couple adventure. And that was the best trip of my life. Travel is very spiritual, I feel like. And I changed so much just in that trip from South Carolina to California, just getting away. Kate went with me on the trip, and then right before school she left, and I was there by myself. They had like student housing right off of Hollywood Boulevard, and I was rooming with three strangers I'd never met, never talked to, and three women. I always felt uncomfortable in those situations. Like in the gym, I would change in the stall, and I remember teachers being like, "You can't change in there. People have to use the restroom." And I'm like, "I ain't changing out here with these girls." You lost your mind. I remember I would just be so uncomfortable. Like I would be that like immature kid, but at the same time in my head, I'm like, I don't want to. Like I felt like out of place. And I've always been so modest, so modest. When it comes to my naked body or anybody else's naked body, it's just like I don't. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how you doing? This is all I had. Nothing going on. You know those little things they put on horses? You know, that's how we going to the gym. Hey, I'm going over here. I was got the room with three chicks I'd never met. Oh, thank God. Thank God for Tal. Later when we talked as friends, she was like, "I'll never forget the first time I saw you." He's like, "I thought there was a boy in the..." I came out of my room, I was like, "Oh God. Oh, they're doing like co-ed thing. Okay." So now looking back, it's really funny that she thought I was a boy. She wasn't far off. Woo.
Hi ho, hi ho, it's off to school we go. Doobie doo boo boo, dee 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 dee, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho. I just thought that you would want to take a walk with us. So it's like you're here right now, walking with us.
Are you making a video?
Yeah.
California is tricky because California is like the best time I've ever had in my life. I was meeting a lot of people. Everything was brand new. And it was like almost like sensory overload. It was terrifying, but it was fantastic at the same time. You know, for me, like leaving what I had just left in South Carolina and being like, okay, let's get a fresh start now. We can do this. Let's get us a fresh little start. You're here. Let's do this. Acting school is very, it's fun as hell. I mean, you don't really feel like you're going, when I think of like school, I never really liked school, so I'm always like, but you know, this wasn't like school. Like this was just, it was like play. I started noticing it at the beginning right out the gate. You know, the teachers want to like pull everything out, so they always want to kind of, you know, put you in different roles. So walking into that school, I just looked like the butchiest of butchy lesbians. Like you could see me, like I walked in that school, and when I walked in that class, they're like, all right, we're good to go. We got the tugging lesbian covered. That was me. The teachers were like, well, I'm going to put you in very feminine roles because I want to see what you can do. But the teachers didn't realize that every teacher was doing that. And I'm very thankful that that happened because it started this wave of uncomfort. So I would have like dance class and I would be paired with a guy and I'd have to wear a corset and a freaking... I guess the best way to describe my time in Ada and this is probably going to be a word you hear me say a bunch of times throughout this, is humiliation. It was such a deep humiliation. It made me feel like such a fucking idiot. Could not put myself into these roles because it was like I just couldn't take them serious because they weren't roles that I could get interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't roles that I could put everything in because they were everything was a female role. And like, you know, as a guy actor, not knowing this at a time, you know, at the time, it looked now like I want to get into some like, so it was like every class, every time you're in a dress, you're in a skirt, you're playing a mom, you're playing a wife, you're playing, you know, it was like, it was so humiliating. Like, I felt like such a joke. And like, I don't know why I felt like that. It was just, I guess because I just couldn't put everything I wanted into it like I wanted to. And what I was putting out was terrible, in my opinion. And because I was just so uncomfortable. If it weren't for them doing that and like put me in all these female roles, I needed them to do that because it got me so uncomfortable to where now I could give myself the T-shot because I don't ever want to be that uncomfortable again. The T-shot does not hurt me as bad as that hurt me.
I'm sure she'll be down soon. It might be old and gray by the time she gets down.
Baby, don't move now. Baby, don't move. You gotta stand still right now, where I can see you. There's a feeling in my heart so strange. Baby, I don't want you to change. Just stay the same, and everything will be okay. Promise I will always wait for you to go and find your own way. We don't have no time to lose as the summer passes.
In the middle of school, I got married. It was my third year of school, that April of 2016. And I figured the whole Dade thing out in July. So at, you know, April to July, that's how long I went before she knew, and while we were married, before she knew, you know, that little bit of time that she was married to a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking back, that's weird to think about, but I should have been the happiest I've ever been, and I'm not. I'm confused, I'm uncomfortable, I'm lost. It's just good. Like, the pile of bricks is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now I've got this little black box in front of me, this new thing. Okay, so now I have a name. Now I'm a little less confused, right? Like, thank you for solving that. Having that, just knowing that, you know, because that was 33 years of confusion. It ate at me and ate at me and ate at me. Just knowing that, okay, you are transgender. There is something you can do right now to change this. There is a way. You don't have to have this body anymore. Like, you don't have to have this. Started watching videos all the time, like, of different female to male transgender guys, and like, I would watch them take their shots and watch all their hair growing on their face and watch all, you know, like, I would watch people get their top surgeries and just think and put myself in that situation, like, how that would feel to just not be that anymore. It was like being in a disguise that you couldn't take off. It was like permanently glued to you. And the thing that was hardest for me during the time, like when I hadn't taken tea yet, not having facial hair. I don't know why. I think maybe because, like, my father and all of his family members had facial hair, and I always felt like it should be there, but it just wasn't. And so, like, for me, I don't know why, every time during that time period, date, July of 2016 to when I started T, which is August of 2017, every time I would see a guy with facial hair, it was like, it would just stab a little deeper, stab a little deeper. And obviously, there's guys with facial hair everywhere. So, like, I don't know why that was my thing. You know, I got in my head a lot during that time, and that's why it took so long. I was terrified of, like, it's going to be so expensive, and, you know, I have to find the right insurance, I have to find the right doctor. This is terrifying. I'm going to have to take a shot every week for the rest of my life. It was a hard year, and it was dark, and it was confusing because my wife was also going to grad school, and she ended up going to grad school in New York. So there was just a lot of things changing. And that was the one thing that wasn't changing, and that was hard. If I could go back in time, the Lex that was barely holding on, that's the Lex that I would go back to and, like, be like, look at me, dude, like, you did this shit. Like, and I would just hold on to that Lex, because that's definitely the strongest I've ever been. I think the difference in somebody's quality of life is whether or not they love themselves. And, like, yeah. Like, I love this dude right here. Me and this dude been through some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, this dude, I love myself so much now, and I love myself in every stage of life up until this point, because it took all those stages and all that confusion and all that stuff. Like, you just don't know what you need until you're there. Everything's not perfect. I still have a lot of things I do get dysphoric about, but the quality of my life has changed, like, dramatically. You know, it stabs so deep, and, like, that humiliation and all that uncomfort is how I came to care and love for myself now. I feel for anybody who's going through it, because I've been through it with you, and that's some stressful stuff. The best advice I could give you is work on loving yourself. Because if you could start, instead of being, like, mad at yourself for not being able to do it, or there's a lot of things you can't control. And I realized it was gonna come in time, and it was gonna be in my time. We made it through episode 3. Yeah, we made it through. We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Well, we did it. Hope you like my song. Okay, so thank you for all the support and love and kind words. I'm so glad that Evolution is getting this, response, and you guys are loving it, and as long as it's helping, that's all I care about. This is you guys' thing. With that said, please tell me about the next episode, which one you want to see. Okay, so we've got my first doctor's appointment. Yay! I make a doctor's appointment. Or option 2, which is the boob problem, where I talk about that whole relationship, because that is an episode all in itself, because was that a relationship? Or do you want to see the good old recognition episode, where I venture into the men's bathroom? You guys pick that. I just, put the little comment down there, that little thing down there, that little section. Oh yeah, last thing. I had to get this out really quickly. I am not a political person, but you do not have to be political to realize how important this election is. So please, go make your voice be heard, and please go vote. I wouldn't ask you to do something I'm not going to do. I'm going to head out there tomorrow. So please, go vote. Until next week, my sweet people, you have a good week.
Speak with heritage.